At one point in time when Yoru was released, he was thought to be relatively bad as an agent in Valorant relative to the way he stacks up against other agents who just seem to do more. But with a couple of buffs and tweaks here and there and a little more limit testing from the community, a lot of pros are coming on board with the Yoru pick, and even TenZ is going so far to say that Yoru is S tier on bind, meaning absolute top tier of agents to pick. And TenZ is even going as far as playing Yoru in his competition matches on bind. But with that being said, why is Yoru still sitting with an atrocious pick rate on bind at a 1.4% pick rate, even though the pros are coming around to it and he has a high damage per round and KDA to back it up? The general assumption is that Yoru is a little too difficult to just pick up and be useful with. So, welcome to SkillCapped. My name is NotoriousDub, and let's take a deep dive into TenZ's Yoru playbook on bind to see exactly what we need to be doing to up the pick rates and start dominating on bind like TenZ does. Now we have to start things off with Yoru's Gatecrash, because it is an absolutely round-changing ability and TenZ uses it so well, and there are two main uses for Gatecrash on offense and defense. And the reason Yoru's Gatecrash is so good is because there's so much structure all throughout bind that you can reposition with your Gatecrash to completely different sight lines and split bomb sites in half, nearly guaranteeing an opening somewhere. So let's start with the attacker side. First off, we have the reposition Gatecrash for when you're running onto the bomb site, and your Gatecrash is going to be your get out of jail free card. Like in this clip here, we see TenZ start off with the site take just by throwing his Gatecrash out back side, just in case he gets caught out during the take. He ends up picking up a kill and bails out with his ultimate because he's getting pushed by the Cypher, but this is where the magic happens. TenZ puts himself in a terrible position because enemies can come from any angle, but all he needs is one kill to break the round open and he can hit his Gatecrash, so he puts himself in a very dangerous spot to try and pick up one kill. And he does exactly that by snagging the kill on Cypher and immediately reloading and flashing out for the only other location the enemies could be coming from, CT. And with a blind that stops the Omen from coming out immediately and enough chaos to catch the Sky off guard, he closes out an eco round against enemies with full rifles and armor. And this reposition Gatecrash is usually going to be the go-to on attack to bail yourself out to an unpredictable spot just in case the round gets a little too chaotic for you. And then we have the entry frag Gatecrash. And this is what TenZ does a lot with Sentinels to open up bomb sites and get the enemies looking to complete opposite directions of the entrance to the bomb site so his team can pick up the kills for free. Now traditionally bind is a very difficult map to entry onto bomb sites on because the entrances have huge funnels with a ton of crossfires, especially on a bomb site. So TenZ starts the round off with a couple of quick kills, and with already low HP, TenZ knows the best thing he can do is teleport straight onto the bomb site and create enough chaos to at least sacrifice himself for his team to pick up the rest of the kills. So TenZ throws his Gatecrash right outside of truck, this way he gets full information for his team if anyone is playing bench or cubby outside of a short, and as soon as he teleports in, he gets taken down by the person on a short. And his team is then immediately able to use that information to trade out the kill, essentially trading a 1 HP Yoru for a full HP and light armor Viper, which is a trade you should take any day of the week. But keep in mind, with these entry frag and Gatecrashes, if you're not flashing for yourself, make sure your team is ready to back you up immediately and capitalize on all the chaos that you're going to be causing. But let's move on to defending, and your Gatecrashes get a little bit simpler here. For starters, when you're defending, when retaking a bomb site, you can use your Gatecrash the same exact way you do on attack, because you're essentially attacking the bomb site back from the other team. But defense is all about rotation, and you should be using your Gatecrash to allow you to get early information while still being able to fall back all the way to the other bomb site just in case they need you. And as an opper, TenZ utilizes this incredibly well. To start the round off, we can look at the minimap and see TenZ in spawn with 4 seconds left, throwing his teleport all the way to the A side of CT, and running long on B side to hold it down with the operator. And this is typically the biggest negative to the operator. You can only be one place at a time, and you generally have a very long rotation path to go through to get to the other bomb site. Now in this clip, the enemy team is pressuring B, so TenZ holds his position. He doesn't use his Gatecrash, but he could easily use it to rotate all the way across the map in a split second and post up in heaven with his operator instead on a bomb site, allowing you to now almost be in 2 places at once and always be in position to impact the round very early on. And the other way you're going to use your Gatecrash is to reposition, similar to how you would use it on attack, but this time it's going to allow you to play in very aggressive and sometimes one and done spots where you expect to die afterwards. But with the Gatecrash, you're still going to be able to fall back to safety if you're in danger after that first kill. So in this clip, TenZ is leaving A site when the other team teleports from B long. So without time to get into an insanely aggressive position, TenZ throws his Gatecrash into a safe spot in CT and preps to go aggressive. Most players would just spam the smoke or wait on their Sova to get there to recon dart through the Viper ultimate. Instead, TenZ knows he has a way to bail out, so he can go aggressive and stop the plant. And because of that confidence he has with his Gatecrash ready to bail him out, he goes huge, not only stopping the plant, but completely closing out the round against a Viper ultimate to bring them that much closer to tying the game. But with Yoru, the most important thing is creating a ton of chaos because he is so unpredictable. So keep that Gatecrash active and use it as much as possible so you can constantly have a way out or another angle to fight from if it comes down to it. And if you're serious about improving, then go to SkillCapped.com to unlock our hyper improvement system that will teach you how to win more gunfights, master your agent, and so much more. It's also backed by our rank improvement guarantee, so you really have nothing to lose. So come join over 500,000 satisfied members of SkillCapped. Improve that KDA, and get the rank you've always wanted at SkillCapped.com. Link is in the description below. But then we have the niche things Yoru can do that are so effective on Bind because of all the angles and structures you can isolate fights with, like his ultimate. Against Gen G's buy round, TenZ goes huge by running it straight down with his ultimate and getting in the face of the opposing Raze and Hookah, where her job is to just lock it down. And with Yoru's team immediately behind him, the Raze has one option: nade the enemy team off so he can get to safety, and as soon as he pulls out that paint shell, TenZ drops his ultimate right in the face of the Raze and drops him with a shorty just before gate crashing back to safety so he doesn't get spammed through the walls. And this is a strat that is so good on Bind because the distance from the entrance to the bomb site is so short from where you can ult from, so you can get very deep into bomb sites almost instantly with your team able to follow up. So the other team now has a choice to make. Do they follow around the Yoru ult, waiting on it to expire, running around in the middle of bomb site, or do they stop the other team from actually entering and taking the bomb site? Either way, the Yoru is causing all the chaos he needs to be causing, and worst case scenario, he just gate crashes back to safety out of his ultimate and lets his team capitalize on all the space that he took for him. And on Bind, there is so much structure that you can find an unsuspecting target anywhere, like triple boxes on A, U-Haul, Hookah, or playing anywhere near tube on B site. Find a little cover to get out your ultimate and get in their face with a shorty. That way you can pick up those free kills on enemies who just really didn't know you were there because the vision range is now so small they can't actually see you most of the time. And also, Bind is one of those maps that is so utility dependent on stopping the enemy from coming in that finding an enemy with their utility out is very common and makes them a very easy target for getting dropped with a 200 credit weapon before dipping out to safety, and not to mention that gives you the bragging rights to remind them in all chat that they just died to a shorty. Absolutely outskilled. But finally, in TenZ's playbook, we have Yoru's Footsteps Fakeout. Now, TenZ isn't really able to utilize this ability to the fullest whenever he's in his pro matches because he is playing against the best teams in the world, and you don't want to play too risky against them, but he does use them for misdirection through the teleporters. Like in this clip, and at the beginning of most rounds, we see TenZ dropping his footsteps right at the entrance of the teleporter on A site. And immediately as the round starts, he sends the footsteps through the TP to make the enemy think someone could possibly be in there. And we see the Raze hold this angle for a very long time, just in case. If the other team's smart, they know you're probably not in there. But that is just a probably, because there is still a small chance that you're in there, and that small chance could be enough to lose them around, so they have to respect it. And another thing this does is condition the enemy to start realizing you're probably not in there after you do it so often, until the round you decide to actually go through with it. And you can pop out of the teleporter unexpectedly as they go in hookah and kill everybody from the back. But there's more you can do with this. You can also do this with 2 footsteps at the same time to make the enemies think that you went in there with your footsteps, or 2 enemies teleported. And these small mind games are enough to keep at least 1 enemy occupied at very important times. And if they're not respecting the teleport, then you can abuse it, or just set your footsteps up and play inside of hookah to make it run through right before you peek to get the enemy to turn around. But this is one of those things that works way better in ranked games than pro matches because ranked teams won't respect the play, but pro teams will always respect it with so much on the line. But finally, with the TenZ playbook out of the way, let's close out the video with a little bit of basic playstyle for you to pick up Yoru in your ranked games and start racking up kills. Now, we went through most of what you're going to be doing on defense, with playing aggressive for information and having your Gatecrash ready to reposition you to have as much impact on the round as possible. But, and most importantly, on attacker side it's going to be a little bit more difficult. Sometimes you don't have a team that works well with you, so you have to be a full entry fragger by yourself. So let's go over a couple of tips to help you win rounds and win duels. First and foremost, your Gatecrash travels in the direction that you send it in, even if it gets redirected by a wall, so you can throw it into the wall in showers and it end up on the front side of truck, or in CT near the entrance, depending on the angle you're looking at whenever you throw it. But the go-to is to usually throw it somewhere deep back sight so you can get behind the enemy, and whenever you teleport, you're going to be looking the direction that you're looking whenever you actually hit the button to teleport. And then for your flashes, you have to get used to throwing pop flashes. And when I say pop flashes, I mean they flash as soon as they get past the angle that you're going to be peeking, meaning you're going to be throwing them off the ground to be the go-to, and you want to throw them a little bit behind the angle you want to come out from, that way they have time to travel before they actually come out and flash. This way the enemy has as little time to react as possible, and if you angle it correctly, you don't actually have to turn away from it before you come out. But with both of these in your arsenal, your attacking side is going to be crazy chaotic, and even in my Immortal and Radiant games, my teammates have trouble dealing with a Yoru that knows how to follow his flashes. And remember, if you want to improve, win more gunfights, and get the rank you've always wanted, then check out SkillCapped.com. Link is in the description below. But all in all, Yoru is on the come up, and I predict we'll start seeing him more and more. But what do you think? Let me know in the comments down below. And while you're down there, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn those notification bells on, because we here at SkillCapped have a ton more comprehensive premium guides coming your way that you're going to want to stay up to date with so you can stay ahead of the pack. As always, I want to thank you for spending this little bit of your day with us, and I'm Notorious Dub, signing off.